It started with a broken ceiling fan and a heat wave that clung to every wall of our apartment like an unwanted guest. The kind of heat that makes your clothes feel like punishment and your skin scream for air. And maybe, just maybe, the kind of heat that blurs the line between loneliness and desire. Derek, my husband, was in Houston for work again. Third trip in 6 weeks. Lately, his job seemed like the only relationship he was invested in. Our conversations had become clipped, rehearsed, like co-workers pretending to still be friends after a failed project. "I'll only be gone 4 days," he'd said before he left that morning, not even looking up from his laptop. "If the fan's still busted, call Jake." I didn't answer. He didn't notice. Jake. His younger brother. The straight one. 32, muscular, casual as hell, with a quick grin and the kind of voice that settles low in the stomach. He was the kind of man people naturally undressed with their eyes, and I wasn't immune. He'd been in and out of our lives ever since Derek and I got married. Family barbecues, moving days, that one Christmas when he slept over on our couch, and I couldn't stop staring at the way his boxers clung to his thighs the next morning. But nothing ever happened. I had my lane. He had his. Still, with Derek gone and the fan spinning out its last week coughs, I gave in. "Hey," I texted, "think you could come by and help fix the ceiling fan?" Derek said I should ask you. He replied 2 minutes later. "On my way. Got my tools." I left the front door unlocked, grabbed 2 cold drinks, and tried not to overthink what shirt I should wear. I settled on a loose tank top that clung a little when I moved. He arrived 20 minutes later, sun-kissed, tank top tight against his chest, carrying a small toolbox and the smell of fresh sweat and sawdust. Masculine chaos in human form. "Damn, it's like an oven in here," he said, wiping his forehead as he stepped inside. "You're telling me," I said, handing him a drink. "Fan gave up last night. I woke up feeling like a rotisserie chicken." He laughed, deep and genuine, the kind of laugh that makes your spine remember how it feels to be touched. Jake got to work almost immediately, dragging a chair under the ceiling fan in our bedroom. The muscles in his arms flexed with every movement, and it didn't help that within 5 minutes he pulled his shirt off, muttering, "Screw this heat." There's a specific kind of torture in watching someone that beautiful exist so casually in your space. I sat on the edge of the bed, pretending to scroll my phone while stealing glances. His back glistened. His jeans hung low. The sound of tools clicking filled the silence between us. "You and Derek doing okay?" he asked, out of nowhere. The question hit harder than I expected. "Yeah," I lied too quickly. "We're just busy." He nodded, still looking up at the fan. "You seem kind off. Quieter. You've been here 5 minutes. I've been watching you a lot longer than that." I didn't respond. I didn't trust my mouth not to say something reckless. Jake came down from the chair and reached for the glass of water on the nightstand. I handed it to him, and our fingers brushed. He didn't move away. Neither did I. "I think I fixed it," he said, eyes lingering on mine a second too long. "But if it breaks again, you know where to find me." "Thanks," I murmured. My throat suddenly felt too dry to speak properly. There was a pause. A long one. "You ever think about things?" he asked. "Like, what if your life had taken a different turn?" "Sometimes," I said, trying to play it cool. "You." "All the time." The air felt thick. Not just with heat, but something unspoken, waiting to be touched. Jake stood close now. Not inappropriate yet, but the gravity between us had shifted. His bare skin just inches from mine, his breath calmer than it should have been. "You okay?" I asked, not really sure what I was asking. He stared at me like he wanted to say something but didn't know how. Then he smiled, soft and sideways. "Yeah. I'm good." He turned back toward the hallway. "Fan's working now," he said over his shoulder. "You shouldn't sleep in that heat." I nodded, throat still dry. "Yeah. Thanks." He stopped at the door. "Let me know if anything else around here breaks." His voice dipped low at the word breaks. When the door clicked shut behind him, the fan above me started spinning. Smooth. Silent. Functional. Unlike my marriage. Unlike my head. And I sat there, alone again, with only the buzz of blades overhead and the dangerous feeling that something had just started, and I couldn't take it back. I didn't sleep that night. The fan turned above me like a lazy reminder of Jake's visit, spinning slowly, tauntingly. My body was cool. My thoughts were not. I kept replaying his voice, the way he'd looked at me before he left, the casual invitation wrapped in subtext. Let me know if anything else around here breaks. Something had already broken. Not the fan. Not even my marriage. Me. By morning, I convinced myself I imagined the whole thing. That Jake was just being Jake. Relaxed, flirty without meaning to be, the kind of guy who hugged too long and smiled too close. He didn't mean anything by it. I was just projecting. Starved for affection. Touch deprived. Touch delusional. I was brushing my teeth when my phone buzzed. Jake. Hey, forgot a wrench. Mind if I swing by? Of course he didn't forget anything. And of course I said yes. He arrived in gym shorts and a white tee that was already sticking to his chest. I stood by the door, barefoot, in loose sweats and a shirt I hadn't even bothered to tuck in. There was no pretending this wasn't loaded. Thanks, he said, stepping inside and heading straight to the bedroom. I followed him, pulse drumming. Wrenches right there on the dresser. He picked it up, but didn't move. You okay? He asked again, same as last night. I exhaled. Why do you keep asking me that? Jake turned to face me. Because you're not. And I don't like pretending with people I care about. That caught me. Care about. I sat on the edge of the bed. What do you want me to say? Derek hasn't touched me in months. We talk like strangers. I feel invisible in my own house. Is that what you want to hear? No, he said. But it's what I needed to hear. There was a silence between us then. Thick, charged, not uncomfortable. He walked closer and sat beside me. Not touching, just near. Derek's always been distant, Jake said. Even when we were kids. You're not the first one to feel shut out. I looked at him. And you? You've always been so sure of yourself. Jake smiled, bitter and small. You think I'm sure because I flirt and fix things? I've spent most of my life pretending. Girls, jobs, conversations. It's all theater sometimes. You're not straight, are you? Jake didn't flinch. I don't know what I am. But I know I've thought about you more times than I should have. That hit like lightning. I turned toward him. Say that again. I've thought about you, he said, slower now. Not just that way, not just sexually. Though yeah, that too. But also how you listen when you laugh. The way you tilt your head when you're trying not to cry. You think no one sees you, but I do. No one had ever said anything like that to me. Not even Derek. Especially not Derek. My throat tightened. Jake, we can't. I know, he whispered. He's my brother. You're married. I'm probably screwing up everything. But you're still here, I said. He nodded. There was a pause. Heavy. Beautiful. Dangerous. I shouldn't do this, I whispered. So stop me. He leaned in, slow, deliberate, giving me every chance to back away. I didn't. His lips met mine with a softness that shocked me. No hunger. No heat. Just a raw, trembling truth. I kissed him back before I could tell myself not to. Before guilt could grab my wrist. When we pulled apart, we were breathing hard, still close enough to taste each other's breath. I didn't come back for the wrench, he said. I know. Jake brushed his thumb across my cheek. I don't know where this goes. I'm not asking for anything. But I had to feel it. Just once. I nodded, afraid to speak. My entire body buzzed, like I'd just touched something electric and irreversible. He stood up. I should go. Do you want to? Jake paused at the doorway. No. But I need to. As he left, I stared at the fan again. Still spinning. Still steady. Everything else, me, us, my marriage, Felt like it was falling apart one blade at a time. I laid back on the bed, fingers touching my lips, still warm from his kiss. And for the first time in months, I felt alive. I didn't hear from Jake for 2 days. Not a text. Not a call. Just silence, and the echo of that kiss replaying in my mind, like a forbidden song stuck on repeat. I kept telling myself that it was over, that the line had been crossed but could still be walked back, that the kiss was a moment, not a shift. But the truth? That kiss changed everything, and we both knew it. On the third night, I was watching the ceiling fan, again, when a knock hit the front door. Not hurried, not hesitant, just certain. I didn't even check the peephole. I knew. Jake stood there in the dark hallway, hands in his pockets, hoodie loose over a tight black tee, like someone who had been pacing before showing up. His eyes searched mine the moment the door opened. "Can I come in?" he asked, voice low, unreadable. I nodded, stepping aside. I didn't ask why he was there. He didn't explain. We both knew words would only slow the inevitable. Inside, the air felt thick again, like the heat had returned just for us. Jake didn't sit. He stood in the middle of the room like he was wrestling a decision. I stood across from him, waiting, heart pounding against my ribs like it wanted out. "I tried to stay away," he said finally. "Tried to pretend it didn't mean anything." I swallowed. "Same. But it did," he said. "And I'm tired of pretending." He stepped closer. "No games this time. No hesitation." "I'm scared out of my damn mind," Jake whispered. "So am I. And I don't know what this makes me." "You don't have to know. Just feel it." That was all it took. He closed the space between us and kissed me again, harder this time, needier. The kind of kiss that left no room for doubt. His hands found my face, my back, my waist. My fingers curled into his hoodie, dragging him closer until we were tangled in something we couldn't undo. I led him to the bedroom without speaking. The silence between us was louder than words, heavy with years of suppression, longing, and everything we weren't supposed to feel. Under the humming ceiling fan, we undressed each other, not with aggression, but with care. Reverence, almost, as if every layer of clothing peeled away a layer of denial. His body was solid, warm, trembling. So was mine. We didn't rush. Every movement was slow, intentional. Jake touched me like he'd memorized the map of me in dreams. I touched him like I was finally allowed to. There were gasps, yes. Muted moans. Hushed apologies. But it wasn't just about sex. It never was. It was about being seen. Being wanted. Being chosen in a way I hadn't felt in years. And when we came together, breathless, entwined, raw, it felt less like cheating and more like surviving. Like we'd both been drowning and finally found air in each other's mouth. After, we laid in silence, skin against skin, our chests rising in sync. Jake stared at the ceiling, watching the fan spin. "I've never done that before," he whispered. "I know. I didn't think I could." "You didn't have to. It happened." "I don't regret it," he said, barely audible. "But I feel like I should." I turned to face him. Same. We didn't speak for a long while. Our bodies stayed close, tangled beneath the sheets, but the weight of what we'd done was starting to settle between us. "I don't hate Derek," Jake said suddenly. "Even after all this." "I don't either," I replied. "I just don't feel like I belong to him anymore." Jake nodded, eyes glassy. "I don't know who I am after this," he said. "You're the same person. You just stopped lying to yourself." He closed his eyes. I watched him sleep for a little while after that. His face relaxed, boyish, open in a way I'd never seen before. It made me ache. By the time I woke, he was gone. No note. No text. Just a faint scent on the pillow and an empty space where he'd been. The ceiling fan spun steadily above me, mocking the stillness in my chest. I lay there, staring up, letting the quiet wrap around me. Not with regret. Not with shame. Just changed. And I knew, whatever came next, we had passed the point of return. Derek came home the next evening. His key turned in the lock like it always did, routine, efficient, practiced. The sound was normal. The silence that followed was not. I was in the kitchen pretending to rinse a glass. The ceiling fan in the living room spun lazily, whispering secrets to no one. "Hey," he called, dropping his suitcase at the door. "You eat." I turned. "Not yet." He walked over and kissed my cheek. Absent, mechanical, like a reflex. The kind of kiss you give a plant you're not sure how to keep alive. "How was Houston?" I asked. "Hot. Long." He opened the fridge. "Any beer?" "There's a couple left." He grabbed one and leaned against the counter, eyes flicking to mine only once before drifting elsewhere. I wondered if he could feel it. The shift. The ghost of Jake's breath still lingering in this room. "I saw Jake yesterday," he said, taking a sip. I froze. "He stopped by my place. Needed help moving something." I nodded slowly. "He didn't mention." He was quiet. Kept looking like he wanted to say something but didn't. "What did you say?" "Nothing." What was I supposed to say? We stared at each other for a second too long. A breath too heavy. "I think he's dealing with something," Derek added. "You ever notice that?" "Yes," I said, careful. "I have." He squinted at me, the way someone does when trying to recognize a familiar face in a fog. "You two get along pretty well, huh?" I let the silence stretch. "We do." A beat passed. Then another. "Did something happen while I was gone?" There it was. Direct. Flat. The question that pulled oxygen from the room. I could have lied. Should have. But the truth had been caged for too long. "Yes," I said. He stared. "With Jake." Another yes. But this time, I couldn't say it out loud. I just looked at him. And that was enough. Derek put the beer down slowly. His hands didn't shake. His voice didn't rise. "How far did it go?" "Far enough," I whispered. He didn't move. He didn't even blink. "You slept with my brother?" I nodded. The guilt didn't come rushing in like I expected. It was already there, settled in my chest like a permanent tenant. Derek walked to the window, then back again. His breathing was sharp, but controlled. "Why?" he asked. "Because I was lonely. Because you stopped looking at me. Because I needed to feel like I existed to someone." His jaw clenched. "So you turned to him?" "No," I said. He turned toward me. And I didn't push him away. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed, like he was holding himself in place. "Do you love him?" That question twisted in my gut. "I don't know." "You've been unhappy for months," Derek said. I saw it. I didn't think it would come to this. Neither did I. He was quiet for a long time, eyes on the floor. "Are you in love with me?" I asked, voice soft. "I don't know," he answered. There it was. The rot beneath the foundation. Not just betrayal, but absence. Years of emotional vacancy, silent erosion. Derek finally looked at me again. "I need time." "Okay." "And space." "Okay." He grabbed his suitcase and walked toward the door. He paused, hand on the handle. "I'm not mad at you," he said. "Not yet. But I'm furious with myself for letting it get this far." Then he left. Just like that. No yelling. No slamming doors. Just absence. That night I texted Jake. Me. He knows. He didn't reply. I didn't expect him to. Days passed. Then a week. Jake didn't come back. Didn't text. Didn't call. As if the night we shared was too much for him to carry and too sacred to cheapen with casual words. Derek stayed gone. I didn't know where he went. He didn't say. The bed felt too big without him. But also, it had felt too empty even when he was in it. One night, I sat under the ceiling fan, watching it spin, wondering if I'd made a mistake or finally told the truth for once in my life. The fan didn't care. It just spun. Reliable. Repetitive. Indifferent. The doorbell rang. I opened it slowly, half hoping it would be Jake. It was Derek. He looked tired. Worn. But his eyes were softer than before. I'm not here to fight, he said. Then why are you here? To listen. So I spoke. And for the first time in a long time, he did. Really listened. I told him everything, about the kiss, the night, the ache. I didn't defend it. I didn't hide it. I just let the story breathe. When I finished, he sat quietly. I don't know what happens next, I said. Neither do I, Derek admitted. But I think we need to stop pretending we're okay. Yeah, I said. We do. We didn't touch. We didn't hug. But for the first time in years, we were honest. And that had to count for something. As Derek left again, I stood alone at the window. Somewhere out there, Jake was doing the same, facing his own storm. And me? I stood in the ruins of everything I thought I knew, heart cracked open, spinning in slow circles under the fan that started it all.